Hello again and welcome back to my videos. This time I will show you the way I am printing on my Epson EcoTank ET-8550 printer when I want to print black and white images. I will show the workflow and the sort of paper I'm using. The paper I mostly use for black and white is the Ilford Gallery series. The smooth pearl, which is 310 grams per square meters paper, and it's a kind of half matte paper. I always take my images in color and almost always in RAW format, so my starting point is almost always the Nikon NX Studio RAW editor, which I use to adjust all my images as far as that is possible, including adjusting any tilt or distortion. And also if I want to crop, I crop from here. I think that's the best because it's a non-destructive process, so I can always revert and go back. So I make all the adjustments here, and maybe you find this image a bit too flat, but that's deliberate, and that's also because I think once converting it to black and white, it looks better in print when there is a too high contrast. In this case, I take the Sacré-Cœur in Paris as an example image. So once I'm happy with the color version of the image, I just change it to monochrome in the editor. And if I am still happy with the image, then I just save it as a black and white JPEG. Or make some further adjustments. And if I could say or suspect that the RAW editor is not enough for what I want to do with the image, then I open it in Photoshop. But in that case, it is already a black and white image. So once I am happy with everything, I just save the image and exit the software. The next step is always to start Epson Print Layout, which is the software I'm using for printing images, not just black and white, but also color images, because I find it more flexible. It's better to use, in my opinion, because of the preview, the printer preview, and all the small adjustments. I can't find all those in the printer driver. So, and I also prefer a specific software for specific tasks, and printing in this case is a specific task. In Epson Print Layout, I just collect all the images I intend to print, and once I have done that, I will just check that I'm happy with the images. Format it also, of course, because for some reason they are not always the same. Like you see, the margins can be quite different between the images. So if I know that I want to display them side by side somewhere on a wall or frame them, then I just like them to be quite similar. For example, this Eiffel Tower image, I would like this one to be more precisely 440 by 295 millimeter. And as you see, the default opening is a bit different. So I have to set this to 440 and 295. And that gives me a margin, left-right margin of 17 millimeters and the top bottom to 21.5, which is exactly as I want it. The paper I'm going to use is Ilford Smooth Pearl paper, A3 plus size, and the print quality selected is high. If I last opened the Epson print layout for printing color images, then it will start in use ICC profile, which can of course be used also for printing this black and white image, but I don't do that. I go always to advanced black and white mode. And as you could see, maybe I just show it once again. If you start in use ICC profile, then it will select the ICC profile for the paper you have, assuming you have a profile created for your paper. And in this case, I have one. But anyway, as you see, the tone is slightly changing when you change to advanced black and white mode. The same image and nothing else changed, but it's a bit more less contrast. I don't know if anything else is changing in the final print or would change in the final print if I used ICC profile, but I can't see any point of doing that because I think the results are better using the advanced black and white mode. And also the number of adjustments I can make from here are quite large. So maybe this is one reason why some people find color cast in their black and white images. They don't expect to get any because maybe they don't have the screen profiled for the light they have in the room. So maybe they just do some adjustments here, and that might result in some color tone in the images. I don't know. I have no idea. Normally, I have this set to 0 in both cases, and that gives me a quite neutral image. And also, I make the final adjustments here if I find it necessary. But anyway, there are a few settings you can play with. But none of this has anything to do with the color cast. So I'm quite happy as the images are now, except that I have to check that the borders are as I want them to be also. So the size here is 295 by 440. And on this one it's wrong, so I have to change this also. 440 and 295 to 295. And that's it. We have again the same margin as the other image, the Eiffel Tower. These two will be framed later on and will be side by side in the same room. So I want them to look similar in the framing. And the same for these ones. But let's see, this one I will set to the margin and top to 20, bottom is also 20, and that gives the left and right to 24. That brings 24.2. I will set it to aspect ratio in this case, and that's it. So this is one, and this is going to be the second one. It's quite quick to do all these adjustments once you got the hang of it. So everything is set, and that's set to normal. Maybe I will check this one. No, this is a night image. I want it dark, or maybe even darker. Oh, dark. Yeah, I think dark is good enough for me. So that's it, and now it's time for printing. I don't know how well you can see it, but I think I'm quite happy with the quality I see with my own eyes. It looks really beautiful. And of course there is no any color cast as far as I can see now, and I'm not expecting to see anything after the print is done. And that's it. The image is printed. So the next step is of course to add some more paper and continue printing the second image. I decided to load all the papers I need for this time, which will be 3 more, and then just start printing the Eiffel Tower also. And that's it. Another black and white image, without any color cast, of course. So I really don't know what those who are complaining about color casts in black and white images from this printer, what they say and what they are actually complaining about. I can't say any that is definitely sure. At least not in this light, and this is a mixture of LED lights and daylight at the moment. And now it's time for printing the third image, which is of course not the third one I print on this printer, but it's the third in this series. As you can see, I have a few on the floor, framed and ready to be set up on the wall, but I will print more before I finish the installation. So whatever other people see in this EcoTank ET-8550, in my images there are definitely no color cast. I don't know what they are doing wrong or why they say it, but regardless of where in the pictures I'm printing I am looking at the only place where I can see some color is under the LED light, but as soon as the printer advances outside the printer, there is no anything, not a single other color than the color tones of black and white, of course. And that is for the whole picture area. It doesn't matter where I'm looking at, or if I look mostly in the daylight like it is reflected now, there is no color cast. So good luck those of you who see the color cast. Please follow the tests I have made or the workflow I am using, and revise your printer, revisit your printer and see if you can fix it that way. So here is a short summary of how I am printing black and white images on my Epson ET 8550 printer. I start always with a color image, as I take all my pictures in color and also in RAW format. So the first thing I do is always to open the image in the RAW editor I'm using, and in my case it's the NX Studio from Icon, and I do all the adjustments I want to make in the picture, because I think that gives me the best results. That includes if I want to apply any noise reduction or filtering or whatever changes I want to make, shadow adjustments, highlight, or whatever else. Everything possible I do in this RAW editor, including correction of distortions or tilting or whatever else, which can be fixed in the RAW editor. Once I am happy with the image, of course, I also check for any details so that the final image will be printed in the quality I want it to be printed in. Right now I'm watching a 100% magnified image, and it takes a while before the image is actually expanded to the highest quality. But as you can see, the details are quite nice, and we can go up to, now it's 300%, so you can clearly see that this is definitely going to be good enough, considering the number of pixels are more than what's needed for the A3 plus size printing. Anyway, once that is done, I just click on the color settings and then change it to monochrome. And once that is done, and I am still happy with the image, then I save in black and white JPEG file format. And once I've edited all the images to the quality I want to, I just go to the Epson print layout and load all the black and white images in the print preview. When I have done that, I set, of course, the paper type, the paper size, and the quality. And after that, I adjust the size to the final print size I want to print it in. And of course, I check all the images I want to print and do the same for each one of them. Please note that I am using Ilford paper for black and white printing, but the ICC profile is actually not used because I am using advanced black and white mode instead of using the ICC profile. Maybe the reason why some people are complaining about color cast from this printer is that they are using the ICC profile for the paper they have and print actually as if it was a color print, when it is in reality it's black and white. In my opinion, that is pointless, so I think it's better to use advanced black and white mode for printing. In this mode you can adjust, make a lot of adjustments of every possible thing, but once you have done all what you want to do, the printer is and the image is ready for printing. So when I am done with all the pictures, I just click on print and then print one by one. I normally want to print one by one when it's both as large images as these ones will be, because I think it's easier to have a full control of what's happening, and in case something is going wrong I can just abort printing, and that's it. So this is the way. After printing according to my workflow, I haven't seen any color cast to complain about. So this is the way I print. Please note also that I am only using Ilford Gallery Smooth Pearl and Epson Premium Glossy papers, but for black and white images I like the Ilford paper much more. It's not as glossy, it's a kind of a semi-matte paper, so I like that more than a real glossy paper. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you can use it for your own printing also. And anyway, if you have problems with colorcast, try my workflow and see if that solves your problems. Just another thing before I finish. It happens that I print black and white images which I only have colored JPEG file of, or it's taken with a different camera which is not Nikon. Then I am using Photoshop, and in Photoshop I do exactly the same. I change to black and white and then do all the editing, and then once I am ready with the image and happy with the results, I save it as a black and white JPEG file which I print, and the results are the same. There is no color cast in my images. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe. And of course, also welcome back next time.